Pokémon Horizons episode 103 just did something that I did not see coming whatsoever, and I honestly can't stop thinking about it. The place our heroes reach at the end of this episode is something that I've prayed for the past 2 years, so be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and now let's dive into the review. This episode centered around a massive fan meetup event by Iono and Nidothing, and Liko is fangirling hard, but Uruto doesn't really care. On the other hand, Gimmighoul is scheming to scam the crowd like the little gremlin he is. Meanwhile, Conia and Zir are really down and depressed because they can't find Amethio anywhere. Even after a year, he's still missing. But before they can continue their search, Zir and Rhydon realise that the big Nidothing event is happening tomorrow, and they're so incredibly hyped to meet Nidothing as they're the biggest fans ever. I really love this setup, man. Zir and Conia have carried such a heavy burden in the past year since Amethio vanished. Not only did they lose their friend, but they've also had a whole year of failing to find him again. It's so clear how much it's weighing them down. So seeing Zir and Conia in a more casual, light-hearted light in this episode, they really do deserve that, man. The next day our heroes are at the event, and it's quite funny how Liko is trying so hard to abide by every strict rule, even though she knows that Nidothing is literally Dot and she can just bypass the rules if she wants. But honestly, it shows the kind of person Liko is, and I really appreciate that. She respects the order of things, you know? Liko gets her ticket and then bumps into Grusha, who's here to see Iono, and I'm just saying, dude, surely it can't be a coincidence that Grusha, you know, the gym leader that Liko never beat, the gym leader that fans really want Liko to have a rematch against, the Ice-type gym leader, is suddenly returning immediately after Liko catches a brand new Fire-type Pokemon. I don't know, man, I get the feeling this could be subtly setting up a battle between Grusha and Liko and her Charcadet. Maybe after it evolves into Armarouge, she can have a rematch against Grusha and win 'cause it's a Fire-type. Meanwhile, the airship's Gimmighoul is tricking innocent people to collect all of its coins. Bro really has a whole queue of victims. This made me laugh so much, but it also has me mad hyped knowing that it's getting closer and closer to evolving with every coin. I kind of hope that Roy gives it the final coin it needs to evolve, and then when it evolves immediately after, it chooses to stay with Roy out of gratitude, or as like a prize for him giving the 1000th coin. Kinda similar to those scammy websites where they're like, hey, you're the 1000th visitor, come press this totally legit link to claim your prize. That's the vibe I'm getting, dude. Anyway, meanwhile, Zir is so pumped about his ticket for the event, which, fun fact, is number 112, Rhydon's Pokedex number. Really cool little Easter egg there. And Conia's just really happy to see him smiling again. But suddenly, disaster strikes. Zir's ticket flies away in the wind. Zir is heartbroken and devastated, and this entire scene was so dramatic with the sad music and everything. I loved it so much. It's so clear how much Nidothing meant to Zir during his darkest days in the Explorers. I kinda feel sorry for him, you know? Our heroes then bump into Conia and Zir, and they all immediately realise who each other are. There's a tense, brief standoff between them, the Rising Voltaclers and the Explorers, but then our heroes quickly see how crushed Zir is right now. They know something's going on, and Conia quickly explains it to them. Dot remembers how Conia and Zir genuinely helped them back in Larkware a year ago, so she knows the two of them aren't all that bad, especially since they're allied with Amethio. Because of this, Dot does the sweetest thing ever and she offers Zir her ticket. She claims that she's not really a big fan of Nidothing, which is so funny to hear from Nidothing herself. So yeah, she says that Zir should take her ticket instead. That's genuinely so kind and so sweet from Dot, dude. She's willing to go out of her way to cheer up someone who was once her enemy. But Zir quickly notices that Dot has a Quaxwell and a Tinkertuff, so he says that Dot has to be a huge fan of Nidothing because she's literally copying Nidothing's Pokemon, so because of that he won't take her ticket from her. And I was really thinking the whole episode, Dot, should you really have your two Pokemon out at a Nidothing superfan convention? All it would take is one crazy fan to recognise your Pokemon and connect the dots, no pun intended, and then they could easily out your identity to the entire world. That's an insane risk, dude. Liko and our heroes, being the good people they are, they offer to help Zir find his ticket, so the rest of the day is spent with our heroes Conia and Zir looking for the ticket, and it really is nice to see, dude. They're beginning to get along better and work together better. I can really feel this leading to great places. But then, when evening comes around and our heroes still haven't managed to find Zir's ticket, Zir shows that he truly is a good guy deep down. He thanks our heroes, but he tells them they should give up, because he doesn't want them to miss the show themselves by helping him. But Liko does her usual inspirational main character never give up on what you want speech, and then perfectly timed a Wugtrio suddenly appears carrying Zir's ticket. Rhydon is hyped and dashes over to try and get the ticket back, but Wugtrio immediately beats him up, and then Wugtrio runs loops around Meowscarada and around Conia's Golduck too, before turning to face Rhydon again and beating up Rhydon again. And Wugtrio doesn't stop there, then he beats up Crocodile too. Dude, this Wugtrio is insane. Such a speedy, slippery, wiggly little powerhouse. He's beaten everybody up, and I love how it's taken all of our heroes to begin wearing him down. But then Cap, being the legend he is, manages to hit a Thunder Punch, paralysing Wugtrio, and that creates an opening for Rhydon to snatch the ticket back. Everyone is so happy, celebrating, and Zir is over the moon that he gets to go and watch the show, and it puts a huge smile on my face seeing our heroes and Conia and Zir all on the same side. We've waited a long time for this, dude. Shortly later, the event begins, and everyone's having the time of their lives, seeing their two biggest idols on stage. And then Nidothing suddenly calls Zir up onto the stage to dance. Dot really is the kindest, sweetest person, dude. She's gone above and beyond to make Zir's day, to make him happy regardless of him being a villain in the past. That's so awesome of her, it really shows the kind of person she is. And Zir is having the best time ever on stage, and Rhydon has a big crush on Nidothing. It's just positive vibes all around, dude. After the main event has ended, it's time for the meet and greet. Liko's in the queue, and she meets and fangirls over Nidothing, even though she knows it's Dot. But that dynamic is so fun, dude. I'm so glad her admiration for Nidothing didn't disappear when she found out who she is. It's like she can separate the two of them in her head, you know? And then Zir meets Nidothing too, and he's equally as smitten. And we can't forget about Conia. She gets her own moment. She gets to meet her idol, Grusha, and she's just glowing with happiness. Honestly, this episode really took the time to humanize both Zir and Conia in such a down-to-earth light. I really love seeing this casual, real side of them both. However, after the meet and greet, disaster strikes for Zir again, because backstage, when Dot is climbing out of her Nidothing costume, Zir walks in and witnesses the entire thing. He's absolutely stunned and horrified when he realizes that Nidothing's true identity, it's Dot, the rising Volt Tackler. He is truly gobsmacked, dude. But then unexpectedly, Dot just hops back into the Nidothing costume again and begins acting like Nidothing, and Zir immediately stops caring about her identity and goes back to fangirling over her all over again. Man, this sequence made me laugh so much. The way he just chose to stop processing who Nidothing is as soon as Nidothing appears again, that was so peak. And then the unexpected ending to the episode. Later on, Conia and Zir approach Liko on her own, and they confess everything to her about how Amethio has been missing for a year, how they've been trying to find him, not as explorers, but as his friend, and Liko is processing all of that. But then, just as I thought the episode was winding down, it did something that I genuinely didn't see coming in that way. Zir and Conia, two characters who have spent most of the series working against Liko, they actually ask Liko to please help them find Amethio. Liko is absolutely stunned, and that's where the episode ended. Dude, I did not see that coming so suddenly. The characters who were once the main villains wanting to officially join sides with our heroes? That's massive. It made me so happy that they trust Liko enough after everything to seek her help with finding Amethio. Clearly Zir and Conia know Amethio would want this too, since he and Liko bonded in such a unique, incomparable way. I'm sure Amethio has spoken to Zir and Conia about it. So yeah, our heroes and Zir and Conia, and probably soon to be Amethio, all being on the same team, the same side. The story of Pokémon Horizons really is entering totally new territory, dude. I feel like we're entering the endgame now. I can't wait for them all to show up as one unified front against Spinel and finally get their revenge. And I'm so happy that we got a whole episode focused on Zir and Conia making that connection with our heroes. Because if we only got the stuff between Liko and Amethio, and then Zir and Conia just tagged along with Amethio instead of actually forming a bond and trust with our heroes themselves, that would have felt so underwhelming, dude. But if I'm honest, that's exactly what I thought would happen. I thought Zir and Conia would just be tag-along backup for Amethio when he joins our heroes, rather than Zir and Conia having their own unique dynamic with our heroes too. And that's really why the steps that Zir and Conia took in this episode felt so unexpected and surprising to me. I have massive respect to the writers for wanting to give Zir and Conia that spotlight, that dynamic with our heroes. This episode wasn't a crazy one, it was pretty simple and straightforward, but I don't think that's a bad thing, dude. It gave us more time with the characters and their bonds, and opened up some exciting doors to the future. This episode did the unexpected, but not with a big explosion or a big reveal like Horizons has in the past, but instead by giving the spotlight fully to two former villains, showcasing their growth and their trust and showing them reaching out to our heroes. The writers didn't have to do that for two of the least important side characters of the series so far, but the fact that they chose to tells me everything. It makes me happy, dude. Oh, and one final thing in the scene with the Nidothing fans lining up to meet her. If you zoom in and look really closely, you can actually see Niabiko, that Nidothing stand from episode 93. She's in the line too, waiting to meet Nidothing herself. That's such a cool little continuity reference. So let me know your thoughts on episode 103 below. Did you like the episode as much as I did? I just really quickly want to apologise for if this video felt lower energy or, I don't know, just different to normal. I find it really hard to talk about, but I want to cover it here. Unfortunately, my dog, Ollie, has really deteriorated in terms of his health in the past week, and I think I only have a couple of days left with him before he passes away. So this past week or so has been really difficult and heavy, and that's why I haven't really been active or made any videos or streamed or anything. And yeah, it's been really difficult to focus to make this video, but I really hope you guys can understand. Regardless though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, it really does help me out. And if you feel like it, come join our Discord server or even become a channel member using the links in the description. Thank you so much to my amazing current channel members for all of the support. Jay, Dowpals, Toten, Shiny Charm, Melissa, Jascadia, Racco, Not Mini, Blazing Shots, Zach, Pokesan, Hope, the Duff One. I really do appreciate it, man. And on that note, thank you all so much for watching and best wishes until we meet again.